Hey guys, welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit Podcast. I am your host, Shane Hinton, and what's that audio? What's that audio? I can hear something. What's that audio? No? Okay. I am here today. This is the next instalment of the Reduced to Clear Biscuits, which is a limited series following Luke and Alex Yousefi on their embark on their new film that they're directing, and they're here with me today. How are you guys?
Good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, thanks for having us back.
Yeah, well, good. I can hear beeping.
Yeah, slightly, but I don't know where it's coming from.
Neither.
I'm gonna blame Alex because with me also in the background, he's not saying much, is Alex Whiteley. He's my very, very, very old apprentice. I'm teaching him everything he knows, and this time he's actually gonna be quiet for a change. So that's really good. But I'm quite excited about this episode because you guys have brought a very special guest with you, haven't you?
We have. Oh, what was that ping?
No, I'm really sorry. That was my mobile phone.
Okay.
Perfect introduction.
My mobile phone, as Luke and Alex will contested, the battery went flat. So all I've done is plug it in, and it's now told me that it's ready to be switched on.
Yeah.
Very bizarre.
So here's Simon Fisher-Becker, our guest.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
So I'm actually really stoked because I believe that Simon was, I'm trying to remember now, was it the second or third actor that you guys announced?
He both technically, because we announced second and third together.
Oh, there you go. I got confused. I was like, I'm sure it's the second or third. But yeah, and I was just blown away because I was like, how? So I guess that's the first question I got to you guys collectively. I guess is how did that happen? How did you guys just run into each other? You know,
Luke is a Facebook friend, along with many others. And he just sent me a message. He had another film that it was going to have a screening, a premiere at a venue. Was it Telford?
Yeah.
And he invited me along. Now I had only recently moved to where am I? Stafford. Sorry. I only recently moved to Stafford.
I'd forget that as well, mate.
And so Telford is effectively a cough and a spit away. So I thought, well, yeah. So I went along, and I was very impressed with the film that he showed. And I thought, yes, this young chap is worthy of having some sort of support. He then contacted me about Reduced to Clear, and well, he just informed me of the character he'd like me to play. So I thought, well, okay. And as I do anyway, basically anybody who offers me anything, the answer is yes. I don't need because I don't need to read it. They've offered me it, so I don't want to find a reason not to do it. And my bank manager encourages me to have that attitude.
I think that's a really good philosophy in life, though, isn't it? Just to say yes to everything. You know, just like you don't know where it's going to take you, do you? So,
to be honest, it stemmed when I was at drama college. Everybody told me that I would be taken seriously until I was about 40, which in reality did sort of happen. And I got the impression that they thought I wasn't going to get any work. So I just applied for all sorts of things, and whoever offered me whatever, I just said yes to. So, which is quite good. You know, so I have a broad CV now, so I cover everything from Shakespeare to Panto. So that's it. Yes, so I was very impressed with what I saw. I thought he's a youngster setting out, and I was very young. I was very lucky when I started out that some quite good names helped me.
Yes,
you know, sometimes they helped me considerably within a production that I was working in, and other times the fact they would just drop my name into a conversation, and I just thought, well, if I ever got into that position, I would get a bit of a kick about helping somebody else. And after all, Luke and Alex are my employers of tomorrow. And I would like to think that when they do have a budget of quite a large substance, that they will remember me again.
I'm sure they will. And it's all about opportunity, isn't it? And sometimes somebody just needs a break, and just getting that break is just going to be the start of the rest of their lives, you know.
Yes.
And you've offered that to them, so congratulations to you, and thank you as well, because not many people, especially in this industry as well, would actually take the time out to do that. So fair play to you. But also thank you, because with lockdown, this has given me something else to do.
Yeah, I hear that.
Alex, Luke, what, apart from obviously the fact that Luke obviously knows Simon already, what part of his sort of acting prowess, if you like, drew you to him to a certain role? Was it did you write the role for him specifically in mind, or you know?
I think he was a name we discussed while we were writing it. Am I right, Alex? That
we
wrote the manager, and I kind of said, "Oh, do you think we could get Simon Fisher-Becker to do this?" And we kind of that happened with a lot of the names that we got on board. The same way as you and McIntosh. It was like these were dream casting that we were joking about. And then
it is actually our dream cast. We've got our dream cast.
But yeah, I think that was it. And we're both massive fans of Doctor Who.
Oh yeah,
where I think one of Simon's most well-known roles is, as you can probably see behind him, actually, with the are they different like fan arts you got there behind you, Simon?
Yes, it's what my husband calls it is my ego wall.
Ego wall. Alex has got one of them as well, actually.
It's a Monopoly board behind him.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Actually, because I sell online. And having the pictures behind me, they can sort of say, the one that's just over your right shoulder, the one that's or can you just move your massive body so we can see that?
So Simon, I want to sort of delve into you a little bit. So what
sounds promising?
Stuff like that, you throw me off. Simon, what? So go wind it right back. So, you know, I want to know, what was young Simon like? What, where was you a young kid that wanted to go into acting, or did you? Go from the beginning.
Right. Well, young Simon was much smaller than he is now. He was a skinny runt and not very athletic. He was built like olive oil, and I used to go. My grandparents took me to Panto, and of course, I loved all that. And then I used to go to the cinema quite a bit, and I used to go to plays. And there was deep down a sort of fantasy. Oh, I'd quite like to do this, but I didn't really have the courage. So I didn't take it seriously at all. But deep down, I now know that around the age of 6 or 7, I fancied the idea of being an actor. But I followed the academic base, as they say. But it wasn't until I went into the civil service and then I was made redundant.
Oh.
So with that redundancy money, I did a postgraduate drama course. And then, as they say, everything followed there. It was a bit of a struggle at first because nobody in my family were in the industry. And then some of my family just thought I was going through a phase and thought that I needed medication. And there were times I thought they were right. But it gradually one thing leads to another. And I was actually very lucky, having come out of college thinking I was going to get no work at all. When I went for auditions, my hit rate was quite high, 1 in 4 or 5. So I had, for whatever reason, I had quite regular work.
When you mention your family not being involved, am I right in thinking that later down the road your mum joined you for a music video?
Well, yes. just to give me that bit of whiplash there. For my mother's 60th birthday, so we're talking 20 years ago I just paid for her to have some professional photographs taken, and I then showed them to my then photographic agent, and she said, "Oh, would your mother like to be on the books?" And of course, my mother thought it went, I mean, blow me down. My mother got us all 1 in 1. Jesus Christ, she ended up doing more work than I was. But then the agent phoned and said, "Oh, your mother's been picked to do a pop video. Do you think she could manage it?" And I said, "Oh, I think so." And I rather tongue-in-cheek, I said, "Well, if I could go as her chaperone to give her confidence." Anyway, the next thing I know, I get a call to say, "Well, no, they don't want you as a chaperone, they want you in it too." And it was Lila, who did the two brothers. I can't remember the names now. It'll come to me. It's all right. I have got a brain rot this lockdown, and I can never remember.
Yeah, again, I know that feeling. My word recall at the moment is rubbish.
Oasis. Sorry, Oasis.
Oasis.
Yeah. Oh, it was an Oasis pop video. My mother suddenly is in a pop video with Oasis.
As you do.
And it was just so very So that's Luke is how my mother got into a pop video.
And I think I probably picked up on that from your book, which I just brought as a prop. There you go. It's your own promotion there.
Yes. My darling has a puncture. Is easily followed by my darling has another puncture.
And now we've just got to make us enough memorable an experience for you on Reduced to Clear to get a shout in the third one.
That's it,
yeah. Yes, I'm in the process of writing. The third one is Let Zygons Be Zygons, which really picks up on what's interesting from my stage show and from my books. People have commented and said the things I do and say, they have experienced themselves. And so I've sort of picked up on that. So. And most of it is people really moaning because they're in a certain situation, and and my grandmother used to say, "Look, come on, let bygones be bygones." There we go. Yes, that happened. That was yesterday. Goodbye. Move on.
So Simon,
yes,
obviously you
No,
say it's fine. That's what I like about these sort of podcasts. We don't write anything down. When we first started doing this sort of stuff, Al used to write almost like an itinerary. By this time we need to do this, and he was very, very organized, and he used to get a little bit obsessive about it. But then eventually we kind of grew and kind of developed into this sort of setup where it's just an informal chat, and we actually prefer that. We like the way it sounds, and we like the way the conversation just flows and does take these little detours, and you actually think about questions that you wouldn't have thought about on a more formal setting. So yeah, crack on, mate. If you want to go on for the detour, then just do it.
I love doing these things. If you hadn't have guessed, I can talk for the nation for at least a year. But I like the conversation. And as you say, things come up and it just bounces from one place to the other.
And you suddenly remember stuff as well, like little words and things like that will just spark off a memory, and you're like, oh, actually, I remember, and that's one of the things which we thrive on with the Biscuit as well, because when we were talking about local people and local businesses and things like that, they suddenly remember stuff that they've completely forgotten about because they've been so busy running their business, they've completely forgotten about when it started and stuff like that. So sometimes it's quite interesting to see the development of that conversation go on. But bringing it back, obviously you were saying that you had quite a lot of luck in your acting career, and it's sort of you're never really short of work. So was it just a bit of a chance of luck to get into the realms of Doctor Who and Harry Potter and stuff, or was that just a natural sort of incline up to get to those sort of level of acting?
Well, the Harry Potter and Doctor Who tell two different sort of stories. First of all, when you start out, the hope is whatever job you do will help you along, and it'll pay the mortgage, or it'll sort of increase your status. That's what you start out hoping. In reality, it doesn't quite work that way. But with Harry Potter, for example, I was asked to go for an audition for Harry Potter for the Fat Friar of Hufflepuff House, and ended up I had to go to 4. There were 20 roly-poly actors squeezing into the smallest room in London, and then that was whittled down to 13, and then down to 7, and then down to 3. So there was a lot of things going on, and then eventually the role came to me, which was brilliant. I then found that it was a 4-film contract. I had to sign 4 contracts, and we did a lot of work in the first 5 weeks or so. But then when it came to the premiere of the first film, most of what I did was cut out.
Oh.
And in fact, I sort of joke with drama students now that my name in the credits is on screen longer than I am.
Are those deleted scenes available, by the way? Anyway.
If they are, please let me know. If anybody knows where I could find them, it'd be lovely, because we did a lot of work. We worked with Rick Mail, who was cast as Peeves, the poltergeist, and he got cut out altogether. So I count myself lucky that I was able to grab onto a few seconds that I had. And that was an example, and I will admit I was very low after that. And I didn't want to give up. I never give up on anything. But from that point, I changed the psychology in my head. I said, right, from now on, my acting is my profitable hobby. And from that, it really was quite remarkable. And then it was 10 years later that I had a complete opposite experience with the casting of Dorian Moldovar in Doctor Who, in that I went for the casting. There were 7 of us that they saw. 3 others I know personally, very, very good actors, so I knew it wasn't going to be easy. But 3 days later, I just got the phone call to say I got the role. And then, so
how did that feel for you? Were you just like, what?
Oh, I mean, I'm a Doctor Who fan, so that was.
Yeah.
I was just a tingy bit disappointed that at the time it was just this one scene in one episode. But you know, I was glad to do it. And so we were talking about luck. I was lucky that Stephen Moffat wrote a character for a large actor. I was lucky that I was the actor chosen. I was then lucky that the image of Dorian just hooked into the psychology of the fans. And because of the fans, I got to do 3 other episodes. And I ended up on this sort of sci-fi circuit, which is worldwide. And from that, I developed a stage show. And from that, a publisher attended one of the shows and told me I had to put it in book form. So that's the trilogy. And it was, none of it was designed, it just evolved. And I now get, I'm now, or was until recent events, a visiting tutor at colleges who turned me down. I walk through the doors and I go, fuck you.
Yeah.
But also I get to do very bizarre things. One of the most bizarre things I was asked to do, I was paid to go to Tulsa and open a vodka bar. But the highlight, what I can say, and I say to students now, that is, you have to be prepared, and your good fortune might come tomorrow, or it might take 30 years. Because up to Doctor Who, I had to audition for absolutely everything, and then after Doctor Who, producers and directors were just asking if I was available.
Well, you know, Ricky Gervais,
a bit like Luke and Alex, really.
Ricky Gervais didn't make his money until his 40s, you know. So, like, you're right. I mean, I think that it's all about how much effort you put in. It's not necessarily about how long it's going to take, is it? You know.
And I personally, I think if the little fame I have now, I tend to use the phrase of following. Had it come to me earlier, I might not have been prepared to deal with that.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I'm very grateful for what I have.
And in what you were saying about the convention circuit, I found fairly recently a photo from about 5 years ago, wherein I had travelled from Shropshire to West Bromwich to a convention to meet you and get a photo. And it's so weird now to be like, "Hey, we're working with you," when you were the main draw to that convention. I think that's where I bought your first book.
Well,
and
that's very kind of you to say. It is
can't
a very.
me remember what convention it was.
People ask me why I do the conventions, and first of all, if it wasn't for the fans, I wouldn't have had a new bathroom. So I want to thank them.
Yeah.
And,
I was just going to say, like, obviously you've worked with some pretty, obviously, quite renowned directors, obviously, in the past. Is it any different working with actual fans now?
The process of working on with students and those who recently graduated, well, the slight difference is that they've still got the energy to achieve and even experiment a bit more and do something slightly different. I don't wish to. Some of the more experienced directors can be a little jaded, and I don't mean that nastily. It's just they can be, maybe they haven't been able to get a project that they would really like to get their teeth into. There are in the industry, and what people outside of it don't realize is to get any project off the ground, there are so many people involved. And of course, the people who actually provide the money, they must be allowed to have some say in who they want to cast and how the project works. Because they're not going to put the money in knowing it's going to fail, are they?
No.
But for the artists, that can be a little restrictive.
And I can also imagine as well, if you've got an experienced director, they know what they're trying to achieve. They know how to make it happen. They're not interested in anything else. They're like, I've got an image in my head. I know what I need to do, and that's what I'm doing. Whereas someone that's necessarily, might not necessarily be as experienced. Like, for example, Luke, who's up and coming, who's got, who's still good, but hasn't got 30, 40 years of director experience because he literally hasn't been alive that long. Is a bit more sort of inclined to take that advice and sort of think, actually, okay, we'll run with that and see how that works. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It doesn't matter.
It's on a personal basis, I just like working, and if Steven Spielberg doesn't want me next week, then Luke and Alex are welcome to have me.
It's because you've worked with like some incredible directors. Because obviously, you've got like Tom Hooper. Is it Columbus who did Harry Potter?
Yes. The ghosts were actually with the second director.
I was wondering.
David McDonald. But just you go with the flow. It's very exciting, and being on a film set is very exciting. Because of my age and my grey hair, I started out in theatre, so that'll always be the thing I want. To actually hear the crowd respond. Yeah,
I know. Although they're very, very similar, they are two different sort of two different processes, aren't they? Yeah, disciplines. Yeah, that's the right word. I think that both have their pros and cons.
Yes.
And I don't think that any one actor that sort of swayed one way or the other is necessarily any better or worse. Because like you said, it's like, it's oranges and tomatoes, isn't it? It's a bit in the same way, but they're both edible. Do you know what I mean?
The main thing with live theatre is once the show starts, you actually have control over your performance. So unless a light falls from the ceiling and crashes on the stage, you're in full control. Whereas with television and film, you're not in control with what actually ends up in the final product. And that can be a bit soul destroying. I would say those who worked on stage, particularly in comedy, they are better film and television actors in that they're used to timing.
Yeah.
And especially if they're working on a comedy, or if their character has got a funny line, they can time it so that the audience watching it at home can have their little giggle.
Yeah.
Those who haven't worked on stage, you find that you don't get a chance to appreciate the joke that's just happened. But,
I remember I was watching something about the art of comedy kind of thing. And I can remember it was more sort of like stand-up comedians sort of thing, and he was saying about listening to the crowd when they're doing their sort of stand up, because you can hear the laugh go all the way to the back and then come back, and it goes and it's on the way, but it's getting that timing right of it coming back, that when you deliver the next line, and it's about when they pause, that's what they're listening for. And I was like, it didn't even occur to me that it was that complicated,
but they only develop that through experience. The more you do, it is do, and it's not just in the arts. I think in any profession, anyone who trains for any profession, it's not until you actually start doing the job that you actually learn how to do it. Because going to college and reading the books is all well and good, but in reality, it's very, very different.
I can remember when we did the Comet Salopia in Shrewsbury, Alex always takes the mickey out of me for this, but we had Jemima Maddox on, who was a stand-up comedian. He's done some awesome things. He's been on TV and stuff. He's done lots of documentaries, and he's done lots of work. And he came on, and we asked him, what was your advice to anybody who's wanting to get into comedy or anything really with regards to media sort of stuff? And he just said, just do it. And he said that's literally it. He said, just do it. He says, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Just do it. And that sort of really rung true to me. And that's why I sort of come back to it quite a bit when talking about this sort of thing, because so many people have so many skills and talents and all sorts of stuff, and they hide it because of being embarrassed or scared or not really knowing how to reach out to get into it maybe, or whatever. So yeah, I mean, just do it, innit? Just get on with it.
I agree with you totally. I've worked with some extremely talented people, far better than I, but they haven't had work that has given them some form of notoriety, which is very sad. But they work and they have a successful career. And nowadays, the assumption by some people is if they're not on television, they can't be any good. Well, I can tell you that is the worst philosophy of all time. Because there are some very, very talented people of all mediums of the arts,
and some very awful people on television as well.
Yes,
Current
news excluded, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. I'm glad.
Knowing how difficult it is to achieve some things, I hesitate to criticize anyone, but I do occasionally think another actor could have done the job better.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I gotta ask. I'm sat backstage. I'm listening to this amazing conversation. I thought I've got to ask this. Last time I spoke about this, we talked about Josh Trank, the very unfortunate director who went from Chronicle to Fantastic Four, who's now just on the inspired Capone movie, which I watched the other day. Which is, when it comes to acting, directing, creating, whether you are at the start of your career or at the end, is there such thing as flogging a dead horse? Have you got to just, when you're in that sort of bad run of things, is it just a case of persevering and just keep working, or have you got to go back and sort of look at change the game plan a bit?
Flogging
That's
a dead
horse.
Because at the end of the day, when you're starting out, you have no real control over what work you do, other than you choose not to do it. And each project is very exciting, and especially in the days when you needed to get together some sort of show reel, and the promise that you would get a copy of it so that you could add it to your show reel. You would just do whatever work is on offer. Whether the project is successful or not, you can't really judge, because what is the formula? There was the original, what's it called? Titans. It had a huge cast. Laurence Olivier, Dorothy Chewton, John Gielgud. You had every single British name that you can think of, and so you would think that would be a very successful film, but it wasn't. It's not always easy to work out what might not work. So because it didn't do well at the box office, people think that it's a flop. But if, as an actor, whilst you're doing that project, you're learning something, you're making new contacts, you're earning some money and you're enjoying what you're doing, I think that's all that counts. There are times you do something you think, who do I have to sleep with to get off it? But as you can imagine, there won't be very many opportunities for me to have that.
I mean, I think with everything, isn't there? You do get to a point where you have to, everybody with any type kind of work, I suppose, you kind of get to a point where you just sort of sit there and you think, what am I doing? What am I doing in my life? I do it on a daily basis, I think to myself, what am I doing in my life?
Yes, sometimes, and I know, having done, quote, proper jobs, I know that feeling. Yeah. And I also know the feeling of having a bad day at the office. But as an actor in particular, if you have a bad day at the office, the complex is I'll never work again.
Yes.
Yeah. And
your reputation is at stake, isn't it?
And you have off days. There are days you can't speak properly. You get all tongue twisted or something, or you keep on missing your mark or whatever. And you feel you're the problem. Because that's the other thing is sometimes they'll go, right, cut. Right. And then there's a lot of people huddling in the corner. And they say, well, and then somebody will look over it to you. And of course you start thinking, oh my God, they're talking about me.
What have I done wrong?
What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? And in fact, it actually turned out there was something wrong with the lighting or something wrong with the sound. But they don't tell you that. You find that out later. So you start getting paranoid. But and also, and particularly with Doctor Who, what I found is if they booked you, they actually assume you can do the job. You obviously, they've convinced you that you've convinced them in your audition. This is the person for it, and he can do the job. And so more recently, and particularly with television, where the turnaround is you get dizzy. There's very little conversation. I mean, at drama college, you have the opportunity to talk with the directors and the producers about your character. No conversation at all. And the next thing you know, you're sitting in a chair and somebody shouts action. What?
Yeah, you just sort of expect it to just turn up and just
and if they're happy with what you've done, they just leave things as they are. Occasionally they might say, could you give us an option? And of course, I used to think, oh God, they didn't like what I did.
Yeah.
But it turns out they did like what I did, but they genuinely did just want another option for them to choose. So that's okay.
Yeah, I've always found that when I've with the directing I've done, it's just been like if as a director you've got the very specific image in mind of how you want things to be done, even if the way the actor does it is 10 times better, there's still that bit in your head that goes, I still want to film it the way that I had it as backup. And I think that's important, but it obviously depends on how the director expresses that. I imagine some directors would probably say that in a much more horrible way than others.
It's very exciting, and if you're with a lovely team who get on with each other, it's well, I was going to say it's like a holiday, but that's not quite right. You're expected to turn up, know your lines, hit your spot, don't bump into the furniture, and above all, don't be a prat.
Yeah.
The way of guaranteeing less work is being a prat.
Yeah.
You hear all these stories about divas and things like that. I can absolutely tell you that is disliked terribly. And I suppose the only time it's tolerated is if the diva is a huge, huge name. That the name alone will just drag in the money.
Obviously, no names mentioned. Have you worked on set with divas like that?
This is a bit when he says he's the diva.
Actually, joking apart, I, as many people know, I have mobility issues, and so all I request is that people take that into account. And when I ask that, I do feel, oh my God, am I coming over as a diva? But no, I have worked. I won't say what project I was on, but we were in the green room. That's not my phone. That's one of your phones. Any of you got a phone going on?
Wasn't me.
So, no. I was doing a project. We were in the green room and we were sort of relaxed, having a chat about things. And then this other guy came in and he just pushed open the doors, and he went like this to a guy and said, "Tea." He just went, "Tea." I
can't say on this podcast what I would have said to him. I'm not lying.
Anyway, unknown to him, the person who got up to get the tea was the director. But he just got up and he said, "Milk and sugar." He said, "Yeah." And he went out, and of course we're all thinking, "Oh my God." And when the guy came back with the tea, the director came back with the tea, he then said, "Could I just have a quick word outside?" So he went outside and we never saw that guy again. He was dismissed on the spot.
Wow. Fair dude.
What a stupid person. And I don't understand why people have those sort of attitudes. But in the main, the really big... I've been very lucky. I've worked with some good talent. And in the main, they are absolutely lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. It's those who are less competent in themselves who can be a bit awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, I did have one actress say to me, "But don't you know who I am?" And so I said, I what was the character she was doing? Yes, you're Lady Margaret. Well, she didn't talk to me for the rest.
How to make friends and influence people.
There's a beautiful quote from The Disaster Artist, the story of the making of The Room being the worst, so famously one of the worst movies ever made. And I don't know if this was a thing that was actually said by the actress or whether in the biopic they added it, but it stuck in my mind, which is people like us, even the worst day on a movie set is better than the best day doing anything else. Would you agree, Simon?
Yes. Without being too tough, I do know that at the end of every day, no matter how well or bad it's gone, I sit in my bed at the end at night and I say, "This is what I do." And that's it. And I'm happy and I'm content. And in the main, I've been very, very lucky. I've had some wonderful, extraordinary jobs to do. There was a series called Puppy Love, which my wife in the series was a doggy trainer. She trained puppies, so hence Puppy Love. That was it. But there's a production, that's an example of a production who took into account my mobility issues. And so they wrote my character as being acrophobic and just stayed and lived in a caravan. And
Wow.
It's that sort of thing, that's the sort of thing I appreciate. Also, there were lots of animals involved. And so we used to film each scene without the animals. And then we were told, "We'll do it again and just go with it." Because, of course, the animals won't have read the script, and damn them, they don't want to learn it. So we were just told, just go with it. And it was quite good fun, really.
Is there anywhere we can watch Puppy Love? Because I've seen you talk about it before, but I don't know.
Yes, I think you can get it on iTunes now, and I think you can get it on YouTube. It was, I mean, it's another story. See, at the time, it was... you guys are starting out doing something new. It was one of 5 projects that the BBC commissioned, what they call a non-broadcast pilot.
Yeah.
A non-broadcast, and from the 5, they then chose 2 to go into series. And very fortunate for us, we went into series. And so then the non-broadcast pilot became the first episode. And then it was commissioned for a second series. Whoopee! Excitement. And about 3 weeks before we were due to start, HBO or some other American company bought the rights to make their own version of it. And so it didn't happen for us, which is very sad. But yes.
So, Simon,
yes.
You say you're working with students at the moment. So are you doing teaching now, or?
No. It's between jobs. If a student project comes up and they contact me and I'm available, and it's not going to be too much of a stretch for me, then I'm quite happy to take part. And it's always on the grounds of subject to availability. I try not to let them down. And also, a lot of colleges ask individuals to go in and give talks. So that's how I got this title of visiting tutor. And my talks, most of it is based on my one-man shows, because some teachers at certain colleges have seen it and said this would be ideal for our students. I've become a patron of a couple of charities, and I'm often asked, particularly when I go abroad, because I'm already out there. They ask me if could you stay on an extra week and do a couple of things for us. So
while you're here, can you one of them?
Well, and just the smack in the happy stacks is if they won't pay for you to come from London, but whilst you're there, they love you, adore you, you're the best thing there is.
Yeah. That's awesome. So is that because it's I know on IMDb it says you're doing some public speaking. Is that similar?
That's yes. That's on IMDb. Oh, God, I don't know who it is. Yes, I do public speaking, but it's based on whatever a charity asks me to talk about.
Right.
Now, some people, particularly in America, I actually got a booking. Can you please come? We don't care what you talk about. We just like your voice. So, not too sure how to take that, really.
And for a guy that likes talking, then perfect job, really, isn't it?
Yes.
You should really just try and pick like the most controversial thing to come and talk about. Just milk it.
The thing is, I'm not really a stand-up comic, but I do accept that I make people laugh, as I've witnessed this evening. So it's just the way.
I still think one of the most times I've laughed is that video you put on your YouTube of you laughing last year.
Oh, I love it.
You had a 60-second video of you laughing, and it was the most contagious thing ever.
I need to find this now.
Alex,
can you find that video?
Yeah, it's on my. I can't remember how long ago it was really, but it's on my YouTube channel, and yes, I just thought, what should I do today? And I said, I'll just laugh, and I started up. And I carried on like that.
I didn't expect that. I did not expect that.
But I have to say also, I inadvertently say things which turn out to be quite controversial. So that upsets people, but I don't care.
Are you getting on, Al? You find it or not? Wait.
Oh my God.
When did you do that? Was that during lockdown by any chance?
Oh no, it was before then. It's interesting because you've got my ego wall behind me there. I see there it was my bookshelves. Well, you can't see them now unless I move around, but my bookshelves are to my side now. So yeah, so that was some time ago. It was just something to do.
But that's brilliant, though, isn't it? Because you just having a laugh. It's just and it's something which actually get sorry. It's something which kind of you kind of forget a little bit, right? That people that do act, that are acting or on TV and stuff are just normal people, and they do just have a laugh. They have got a sense of humor. Most of them do. And they are just normal human beings, and and it's really nice seeing stuff like that, because you clearly don't take yourself too seriously, and you just have a laugh, and that's what life's all about, isn't it?
I'm very serious about my work, but I certainly can't take myself seriously at all. And for years and years and years, I've had to deal with people telling me I don't have a proper job. I've also experienced conversations where people just assume that if you're in a film for 10 minutes, it only took 10 minutes to film.
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
Luke's just had an eye twitch then.
I always try to find a silver lining in any situation. And the thing that really pleases me is that during lockdown, who do the public go to? They go to actors and singers and dancers and anybody in the arts just to keep themselves entertained. So we have now become essential. So I like to stick up several digits to those in the past. I mean, there was another one that I got a bit controversial. It was Go Out and Kill Grandma, I think it was called. I can't remember. But if it's on my podcast, you'll find it. So it'll probably be April or May I did it. Let's all go out and kill Grandma. Let's all go out and kill Grandma. Let's all go out and kill Grandma. Let COVID polish her off. Let COVID polish her off. Let COVID polish her off. Oh, let's all go out and kill Grandma. And inherit whatever she's got. Sorry.
That was beautiful.
I can't see why that came across controversial.
Literally the only thing that Alex has said through this entire podcast is
that. I must admit, I did it as a joke.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of stick for doing that, and I hope I didn't get too much stick now saying that.
But I guess it shows how much respect people have for you that they then have the offense afterwards. I think, if that makes sense. Like in the fact that they hold your views up high enough to be bothered by them.
No, I know I get very positive feedback, but just occasionally, I did recently. I put up a message about the Harry and Meghan interview. Somebody made some statement, and all I said was, I think we need to know both sides of the story. Before you make comment. That's all I said. But no, somebody's going to come round and beat me up, apparently.
Awesome. Yep.
So I've responded to it in my latest vlog, which I put up today. So
that's on my watch later to watch tonight. Yeah. Your vlogs are just really fascinating. So to anyone who hasn't seen them and have got like 5-10 minutes to spare, they're always just a great thing to listen
I like to put in something that's quite interesting. I like to put a fact in, and I also like to respond to those who've written to me. And very often people do write to me and say, "Oh, in your next vlog, could you mention blah blah blah?" The issue is that many people will write in, but they only ask a limited number of questions. They all ask the same question, in other words. But never mind. It gives me something to do.
Simon, yes, it's just sort of steering it a little bit now. You can conduct a choir.
Well, yes. You see now.
How does that happen?
At school, I was more of a musician than an actor. Long story short, the first time I conducted the school band at a summer fete because the music teacher at the time was ill. So I was pushed forward, you see. So that's it. And I can tell you, actually, conducting is a lot more difficult than you think. Because the sensation for the person with the stick waving their arms around is that they're trying to drag a cart horse. See, if the conductor follows the musicians, the musicians follow the conductor, it gradually gets slower and slower and slower, and it comes to a full stop. So then from that, I, after school and whilst I was a civil servant, on Saturday mornings, I became a warden of a music centre. And in one year, 1987, I think it is, there was the Zeebrugge ferry disaster. Now, Alex and Luke, and I suppose you must be, Shane, you're too young to remember it, really. But a ferry.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yes, the back end of a ferry opened and it got flooded and it sunk, killing most of the people on board. And some of the people were members of this music centre that I was a warden of, including the sons and daughters of some of the teachers. And suddenly other students came to me and said, could we put together an orchestra to do a concert to raise money for the Zeebrugge Fund? So that's how it started. And no internet, no emails in those days. But I managed
Google, no YouTube.
But I managed to get a 144-piece orchestra and a full an audience that filled a church that hadn't been filled since 1872. And we did this concert and it was brilliant. So that's how it started. And then from there, people asked, oh, could you stand in for our conductor? Could you conduct this concert and that concert? And that's how I did it. And it was absolute fun. And I entered a couple of comments. So that's on my IMDb page that I conducted. So, oh my God. It wasn't until I did Doctor Who that I suddenly had a Wikipedia page.
I know. I was looking at your Wikipedia page,
and that Wikipedia page has I have no control over it.
No,
when it first came out, there was a photograph of me, and they had lots of information on there that was incorrect. And I tried to edit it, only to find I had to put in a code. Well, I don't know I don't know what the code is because I didn't create it. And to be honest,
what's the weirdest lie you've seen about yourself on the internet?
There's several things really, but the one that was a little controversial, the main one that's controversial, is suddenly I got an email from a friend that said congratulations in the box. I opened it up, and there was a link to, I think they're called Cult Box, and they got this thing saying Doctor Who actor to appear in Game of Thrones, and there was a wacky great big picture of me as Dorian. Now, I had gone for an audition to play this certain character, and I was recalled, and then there was a third recall, and then I didn't get it. Right? But there was this thing that came up. So I contacted my agent, and I said, is this something I should know? And so I told her the story, and she got a little worried because she thought it might upset Nina Gold, was the casting director. Nina Gold is a very big,
Nina Gold's
wonderful professional and
amazing things.
And there was that. So then Kim said she thinks that somebody might have got sight of the recall sheet and saw my name and just assumed I get it. But in practice, in reality, it was David Very who was also in Doctor Who. He played a Slovene. So all it is that they got the wrong picture. But I started going to conventions and doing these sort of things, and people will say, and what's it like working on Game of Thrones?
Not a clue.
But the weirdest thing of all is if you type in Wiki Thrones and put my name in, it'll come up and say that I was cast, but then it was recast. I was offered the role, which is a complete nonsense.
So Simon, with regards to this production here, the reduced to clear, what's your hope for it? You know, what's your sort of image of what's, you know, where do you want it to go? Where, you know, do you know what I mean?
Yes. To answer two sections there. First of all, when I read it, and I had in my mind what I would wear. And what's interesting, they sent me a photograph of somebody dressed like they would like the manager to wear, and it's more or less what I had in mind. So that tells me from the start that we're going to get on very well, and we're more or less on the same wavelength. And as for where it will go, I would love it if it got onto the short film circuit, and it won awards and it got some form of notoriety, I would love the idea that somebody like the BBC or would pick up a short film, and I wish them luck with that. Now, I do know a lot of people contact me, and they do think having a Doctor Who actor in their project will help that. If that is the case, then I'm very pleased to do that, but I'm not so sure. You know, I'm not so sure. You could have the opposite effect. Oh, good God, it's him again.
Oh God, delete.
Have we said? Have we actually said who you're playing today? I mean, there's not too much we can say about.
No, I know that I know there is the Official Secrets Act and everything, which I'm used to.
Signed in blood, of course. You know.
Well, I've got a choice. I could tell you, but then I'd have to come and kill you.
Oh, right, you see.
So there's that. But I have a pivotal role, I think. Would you say that is correct?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Pivotal. And I'm very pleased to be.
So, Alex, do you want to do, as soon as you've said next to nothing this entire podcast, because we've been talking for way too much, do you want to sort of just outline, obviously I know that you can't say too much, but sort of just a rough what Simon's going to be doing?
He's the manager.
Okay, fair enough. Podcast me later.
Up to the tower with him.
Second credited, I think. I think second lead is what we're saying. It's a recurring throughout, whereas a lot of sorry, I'm not talking. Shut me up.
Look, guys, I think we're running out of time. Al's tapping his watch. So we're going to have to start wrapping up. Simon, where can people find you if they want to contact you or watch your content? Or
they could go to my Facebook page. Just type in my name. There are two sites, but the main one to go to, the banner is of my ginger and white pussycat who died a few years ago. Oh. So you know it's me. And just come on as a send a friend request and we can go from there. You can also go to YouTube and just type in my name and my channel will come up and you'll see some of the vlogs I've done. And like your good selves, I'm currently the co-host. Yes, currently a co-host of the No Name Trivia Show, which is really aimed at the audience who like trivia facts, questions and things. And that intersperses guest appearances and have conversations with them. Though it is based in Australia, so in the UK, you have to watch it at the moment. You have to watch it at 9 o'clock in the morning. But if you sign up, you can then follow it and get the recordings later. So that's it's the No Name Trivia Show. Though I need to update it, there's my website, Fisher-Becker.info. And you can find me on my IMDb page.
Apparently. So Luke, do you want to drop your digits?
I've been trying to trim down the plugs that I normally have. Although they can find me on Twitter at llama_bottle0. So anyone who hasn't got me there, I don't know whether you've got my Twitter, Simon. It's pointless, but I'll plug it anyway. But most of the stuff with our film is Mr. Middle Films, which is on Instagram, and all the stuff to do with this. You can find us on IMDb. You can find us on everything's linked on my website, lukeallen.co.uk. Alex, do you want to say your socials if they want it?
I don't. I have an Instagram, Riced. That's RICED.BY.DAYLIGHT.
You've got to sort that out, man.
Yeah,
you've got to sort that.
If I could just quickly plug something.
Yeah. Far away.
I'm currently at a regular appearance on a radio drama sci-fi series. It's called The Hawk Chronicles, and I play an MI6 agent called Tony Simon. And so if you go to Google or whatever search engine you use and just type in hawkchronicles.com, takes you straight to the page. I start on episode 103, and we've just recorded episode 155.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's available on all the, Spotify and iTunes and iRadio and all that as well. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're going to be talking to you guys quite a lot anyway. The whole point of this limited series is we're going to be following the development of the film, talking to the actors, and just sort of just monitoring and documenting the kind of progress, and getting you as a group together, maybe a couple of actors together, and just sort of every fortnight. I think it is, Luke, isn't it? I think it's gonna be every fortnight.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm actually really excited. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Simon, and you're a really interesting guy, and just doing a bit of research that I've done today on yourself, I've learned a lot, and just talking to you as well has been an absolute pleasure. And I'm really excited to see how this progresses, and seeing you in action. Maybe COVID depending, fingers crossed, we'll be able to get on site and actually do some maybe do some vlog stuff, maybe some get on site while you're recording, and actually once you've done the scene, just some pop boxes, and things like that.
It links to on site. If anyone Shrewsbury folk are listening and have a charity shop that we could use for filming, then get in touch
for free.
That's very hard to come by.
They are, yeah, and yeah, absolutely, guys, and everybody that's listening, if you have got access to a shop or that kind of place, or even just a large hall or something that we could made up,
dress,
that we could dress, then please either contact Luke or Alex, or even contact the Biscuit, and we'll put you in touch. That'd be massively helpful. These guys are doing this on next to no budget, and we want them to do well, and they will. I'm sure they will. Even if even with or without the help, they're going to do well. So it'd be great to give them that. Is there anything else you guys want to say, or you all happy? Anything you want to add? Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get Alex to pop back in again, because I need him to do the shout outs for us, because I always mess it up and I never get it right. So, I'm going to get him to come and do that bit.
I can't get the staff these days. That's what it is. Right? Shane, well done. You've done a great. That was amazing. You did a great job, guys. I'd love. Shane just said if you do want to get in touch with the show, make sure you go to our website, which is the Shrewsbury Biscuit Podcast.co.uk. You can contact us through the website there, or you can all just go to our Gmail, which is the Shrewsbury Biscuit Podcast @gmail.com. We would love to hear your suggestions. If you do have something that you can help these guys make this film with, we would love to hear off you. And of course, you get lots of audio love in return. So there's that there as well.
There is that.
The Shrewsbury Biscuit is actually expanding quite beautifully, actually, after sort of nearly 3 years of hard work. We do have the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast, which is never going to go. We have the Virtual Market Showcase, which is every 2 weeks, where we get independent traders to come in and talk about their businesses. It's a beautiful forum for people to come and just illustrate what they do. Independent traders need as much help as we can give them at the moment, and so that's what we're doing there. And we also have once a month the open studio sessions, where anyone can come and talk to us. It doesn't matter what country you're in or where you are, what you want to talk about. You can just come and sit. And Simon, you're welcome to join us on the open studios.
Yeah,
whatever. We can just sit and just chew the fat. That's what that's all about.
Chew the fat.
Chew the fat.
I have plenty of fat to chew as well.
Thank you very much, guys. And we'll do this again in 2 weeks. This has been fantastic. Right.
Peace out.
Peace out, guys.
Peace out, guys.